Time flies, and now we are finally onto our last session where we will be focusing on understanding your family's resources and needs. First, we'll be guiding you through different focal areas that you'll need to better understand your family's situation. Following that, we'll be covering the final worksheet, which is to develop your household monthly budget based on your knowledge of your family. We'll be also noting some reflection questions that you can ponder upon based on your attempt on worksheet 7. Do remember to have your personal budgeting handbook in your hand to allow yourself to follow us through the video. Last but not least, let's move on to it. Before moving on to the final worksheet 7 to develop your household monthly budget, do you know why you need to understand your family's situation first? It is exactly because your individual life is deeply intertwined with your family members' lives that is also applicable to your finances. With your family back home depending on you to support them financially, your determination to continue working hard even away from your family is really something we look up to. Hence, it will be helpful for you to ensure the following before working on worksheet 7. Firstly, have a deeper understanding of your family's needs and key contributions. Be aware of what your remittance back home is being spent on. Ensure that family members have a basic understanding of money management and have your family members' commitment to share responsibility in controlling your finances. And lastly, always communicate and do review your monthly finances within your family. We also have a questionnaire for you to see how well you know your family's financial situation. Who are the respective earners and dependents in your family back home? What are your family's sources of monthly income? Identify guaranteed and non-guaranteed income and the amounts. To give you a better understanding of the question, guaranteed income is income that can be relied or counted on, such as basic wages or salary, whereas non-guaranteed income is income that you and your family members are not sure of receiving in, such as bonuses. What are your family's needs and regular monthly expenditures? Are there any loans to repay? What type of unexpected expenditure has cropped up before? An example could be hospitalization bills. How much savings does your family have for emergencies? Do spend some time to slowly think of the questions to help you better understand your family's situation. See which of them you can answer confidently. If you are not sure of any one of the prompted questions, it is an opportunity for you to learn more about them by discussing with your family. If you have more financial information about your family's situation, feel free to include them for your understanding. So start thinking on your feet.
On this final worksheet 7, we will be moving on to crafting your monthly household budget. As you recall back onto our previous lesson on worksheet 6, which you have crafted your personal monthly budget, now we will be taking into account your family's expenditure. The format for this worksheet will follow closely to worksheet 4, which you have crafted for your personal monthly income and expense statement. The only difference here is that you need not allocate it based on a need and want basis, but to incorporate the basis of understanding. The basis of understanding refers to description or explanation for the various expenses amount allocated. For example, as you can see, should you have a repayment of loan? For the basis of understanding, you could state housing loan agreement to repay by the date the loan is due. This is to show what type of loan you are referring to and the due date to keep in mind when the expenses are due. For school fees, you could state like it is for your siblings, in a way, how much it costs for each sibling. This also applies to the variable expenses, where you take into consideration your family expenditure. Back to the section on income, you can state down the total amount of monthly income earned here in your family as written in worksheet 1. Simply list down the basis of understanding under that column with reference to the earlier explanation. It's alright if you do not have any expenditure for some of the categories, as you can simply ignore it. However, in the future, should you have these expenses, do bear them in mind and note them down for a more accurate budget allocation. As you might be wondering, what are the review notes for? It serves as a space for you to note down your reflection answers, where the questions will be prompted later after this worksheet. For instance, in areas or categories that you are confident about, either in saving or keeping track of the expenses, you can list it under this section to keep in mind the amount recorded. In other words, it serves as a remarks section for you to note down your thoughts in response to the categories based on the questions given. After filling the necessary amount in Singapore dollars, kindly compute the final amount to determine if it is a surplus or a deficit. The same concept applies where you take your total monthly household income to subtract the total of both fixed and variable expenses. And yes, this concludes our final worksheet together. We hope that through this worksheet, you will be more aware of your family's spending and how to better improve it based on the budget you have crafted. It is important to note that when it comes to finances, it is not just a personal matter, but it concerns your family as well. Do feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about this worksheet. Have fun working on it!
And now, I'm sure after going through the last two sessions, you do know there are reflection questions following your worksheets. It's always good to review and reflect after finishing up a worksheet. So here's a few questions relating to worksheet 7 that you can find in your handbook as well. Look at the parts which you're sure about and ask yourself why. Probably you have a part to play in the expenses. Or maybe what are some parts you need confirmation about and who do you have to clarify it with? Are there also any components which came to you as a surprise when you computed the sum? Think carefully and ensure that you have not left anything out before thinking about whether you are content with your above surplus or deficit. No matter what it is, you should ask yourself the plans for the future, whether it be turning the deficit into a surplus or even continuing the surplus so as to not fall into a deficit. Remember to take into account all factors and consult your family members too while building up your family smart monthly household budget. So, get right into it. Yes, that marks the end of your financial budgeting journey with us. Congrats! We hope that we have been great guides along the way to aid you in financial planning and clarify whatever doubts you have. I'm sure you now have a greater awareness of your spending patterns and will use the financial knowledge that you have picked up to better control your finances. We believe this will be helpful to you for years to come, as I'm sure that you have many more goals along the way. We hope the workshop has been an enriching experience for you and will bring back good memories too.
Thank you for joining us in this journey. All the best and take care. Bye.